Hello everyone, and we are back with the September 2021 edition of the RGN C64 Round Up, your concise guide to the latest news and releases for your Commodore 64. So let's check out what I've selected to be this month's feature presentation. Ewe Woz Ere DX by Chaos Design is an enhanced version of the original 4K game submitted into the Reset 64 Craptastic competition in 2020. You take on the role of Barry Mutton Commando, a cyborg sheep from the future, who must ensure the safety of all mutton kind by defending the fields on various planets from an invasion of alien creatures and opening up the gateways on each level. The game starts off with Barry being teleported to a pasture field on Earth. Armed with a basic plasma gun, you move Barry across the landscape either left or right, blasting the aliens. Occasionally, destroyed enemies will drop items for you to collect. This includes charges which are required to open up gateways. For every charge you collect, the charge bar at the bottom of the screen fills up. You need to fill this up in order to activate the gateway. Other items dropped by eliminated aliens include a time bonus that increases the time that a gateway will remain open when it's activated, and weapon upgrades. Our cyborg sheep has an energy bar that decreases not only when you collide with an enemy, but also with each shot you fire off. The basic weapons use up less energy, but are less powerful, while the more powerful weapons are great at quickly eliminating aliens, but at a huge energy cost. If Barry runs out of energy, then he loses one of his lives. Luckily, Barry is able to restore his energy by standing still for a second over a patch of grass, where he will start to munch away at the tasty vegetation around him. But don't get too greedy, as having too much energy will also result in Barry's demise. The landscape on each level is quite varied. Some of the different terrain will contain less grass patches, while others will have more potholes to avoid. When you get out to beyond the fields on Earth, you will have different gravity levels to contend with as well. As you get close to filling up the charge bar, you need to start keeping an eye out on your energy bar as well. The more energy Barry has, the faster he will run. When you do activate a gateway, then it's time to make a run for it before the timer runs out. If you're too slow, then you have to collect the charges all over again. I can't describe the adrenaline rush I would get when a gateway does open up, as I frantically rush towards it, getting there with just a second to spare. It gets quite tense, in quite a fun way. After you complete the first 6 levels, you get a chance to go one-on-one against Traz, the leader of the alien group, in to destroy all sheep. Ewe Woz Ere DX is a fun arcade shooter that has depth added to it as a result of having to maintain and balance your energy levels. The game is well presented with good production values, and gameplay difficulty hits the sweet spot that makes it accessible to all players. Ewe Woz Ere DX will be available as a digital download on Chaos Design's itch.io page, and for physical collectors, you can grab a cartridge edition from Bitmapsoft with orders for the game expected to open up sometime in October. Space Moguls has released a trailer for Island Adventure, a game that moulds exploration with puzzle gameplay. Looking at the trailer, you'll probably be reminded of exploration games like Pirates or Seven Cities of Gold, and this part of the game looks to have some depth to it. But Island Adventure is in fact a sequel to Space Mogul's nonogram game, No No Pixie, released back in 2019. This puzzle element is a core component of the game, as everyone you meet in the game wants your help with their puzzles. So you talk to people, and they present puzzles. Each solved puzzle opens up the game or rewards you with something that might be useful within your travels. I'm quite intrigued by Island Adventure, as I enjoy both exploration games and nonogram puzzles, so I'll definitely be on the lookout for the game as it develops further. Protovision has confirmed the development on Cursed Tomb has recently recommenced, with the developer of the game, Zbigniew Ross, determined to see the project through to completion as soon as possible. Cursed Tomb is an action puzzle game that provides a large collection of well-designed but challenging levels. You direct and explore around a labyrinth, collecting jewels before locating the exit. The trick to the game is that the explorer only stops moving when he hits a wall or an item, so to survive you will need your nimble wit, be smart and be careful where you move. The game also contains an autosave feature between levels to ensure that you don't have to start the game from the first when you lose all your lives. Polar Bears in Space is an upcoming horizontal scrolling shooter and platform game by Unrolled Loop Studios. Sotronic Software has released a trailer for this quirky game that sees you play a polar bear stranded in space, and to get home he needs to collect 99 crystals in order to fuel a transporter. The game looks to feature some fast, smooth scrolling and plenty of different enemy types. The game is expected to receive a disc release through Sotronic Software and maybe a cartridge release via RGCD. C64 Portal.pl has released another teaser video for the upcoming single-screen arcade game Robot Jet Action. Robot Jet Action sees you take control of a robot who has to use a jetpack to thrust his way around the screen, avoiding baddies and spikes while collecting items that will eventually open up an exit portal to the next level. On top of its straightforward but addictive gameplay style, we can see that Robot Jet Action is looking really good with its use of high resolution graphics. Originally slated for a release back in May, developer Carrion has taken a bit of extra time to work on the project and is hoping to finish up before the end of the year. Bobo Games is promising something quite special for collectors of physical cartridge games. The upcoming release of Monster Catcher will feature a cartridge that lights up each time you fire a projectile in the game, while the Space Collection 4-in-1 compilation is going to feature a cartridge with LEDs made out to look like a shining star display. Boba has promised more info on these special cards across the upcoming weeks, but you can find out a little bit more about these releases via Boba Games' website. Time to check out the demo of the month. Solas 2, The Armour of Gods has been released through Sotronic Software. RGN showcased Solas 2 in its own separate video before its release a few weeks back, and interest in the game has been strong, with a video obtaining over 10,000 views within 2 weeks, which for a little niche channel like RGN is an extraordinary result. Solas 2 continues the story from the first Solas game and sees King Ryzek out to stop the evil King Wizard Kalen from getting his hands on the Armour of God and plunging the kingdom back into dark peril. The game offers 4 large levels of adventure platform gameplay featuring high quality production values, responsive controls and progressive rewarding play. The primary object on all levels is to locate 6 of a specific item, like keys or orbs, in order to unlock the access to the next level. Each of the 4 levels plays a little differently to each other. The first level offers a light puzzle element for you to solve before ramping things up a notch in the second level when you locate the Armour of Gods, allowing you to fly around the game world. The final 2 levels are spent whizzing around the caverns and Kalen's secret domain, transitioning in and out of armour from time to time. Solas 2 has received broad critical acclaim, and with a good reason. The game signifies a return to form by the Icon 64 team. And as for the adventure platform genre, Solas 2 is right up there with the best of all time. Yes, the game is heavily inspired by the sacred armour of Antiriad, but that's not a bad thing, right? Heli 1983 is released by Drakenberg Studios and sees you take control of an Air Force special helicopter. The idea behind the game is that the Martians have attacked Earth and built a giant underground fortress, and you need to fly in and extract a disc containing the construction plans. To control the helicopter, you push up to initiate an increase in your chopper blade's rotation speed, allowing you to climb up. Letting go results in a decrease in the blade rotation and your chopper starts to fall down. Holding the joystick button down activates the automatic height control, which basically allows you to hold your height position for a small period of time before you lose power. While the mechanics of this control system make sense from a helicopter control perspective, it does not translate to an enjoyable gaming experience. You do have to spend a lot of time to become quite familiar with your chopper's delayed response to the controls in order to just get past the first screen, and many may just give up quickly in frustration. And that's a pity, because everything else about the game is quite good. I think the game has great music, a good game objective, and solid graphics. Heli 1983 is a free game download. And if you weren't turned off by Heli 1983, then why don't you give episode 2 of the series a try? Control mechanisms are the same, but this time the first screen is a bit more forgiving, but the rest of the game is once again quite tough. I personally would like to see both of the Heli games re-engineered to be more of a thrust style game with responsive controls like Lele Relay, a wonderful game we covered a few months ago. There are definitely good bones to the Heli games, it just needs a control mechanism that is enjoyable. Episode 2 is also a free game download. A New Dimension has released Shock Raid, a vertical scrolling semi-shooter that sees you fly through 4 underground layers to do battle against the aliens, while trying to locate a power crystal required to destroy the alien threat once and for all. Your ship is charged with a limited number of shields, with one being lost each time you collide into any aliens, their lasers, or any other obstacles you come across. Once all your shields are out, then it's game over. Shock Raid is as much about navigating the layout than its shooting element. The game moves about okay, but the level designs are somewhat lacking, and as such it all becomes a little pedestrian, and is not likely to be a game you go back to after giving it one try. Shock Raid is available as a free download from itch.io. Graviton by Carl Hornell has been released through Cytronic Software. This is a tilt maze style game with the objective to guide your ball through a maze without it falling into one of the black holes. Graphically, the game looks quite polished and the music is quite soothing. And it needs to be, because this is another case where a game is ruined by the control mechanism. To move the ball around the maze, you need to tilt the game board, and this is done by moving your joystick cursor around the tilt control overlay on the right side of the screen. If you're watching this footage and getting frustrated at me trying to tilt the board in the right direction and by the right amount, then this is a good representation of how it feels to play the game. Trying to control the tilt mechanism is tedious. If you don't have a responsive joystick controller, then things get even more frustrating. Perhaps the game could benefit from a Marble Madness or Spin Dizzy style of direct control, as tilt games are not a style of game that translates very well in a digital landscape. Graviton offers 20 maze layouts, and they are all accessible from the start. Graviton is a free digital download from Sotronics' itch.io page, but for collectors out there, physical cassette and disc versions can be purchased from Sotronics software. Gates of the Ancient by Dr. Mortal Wombat is sure to please fans of Elite with its exploration-style gameplay mixed with space combat and trading elements. The objective of the game is to explore vast galaxy systems, building up the strength of your ship in order to find your way back home. You move from one waypoint to another, uncovering what lies there, which may include enemy pirate ships, special artifacts, space mines, and much more. The game features filled polygon graphics that move about at a good speed when they are shown in isolation. Blowing up enemy ships can result in credits being left behind for you to collect, which can be used to upgrade your ship at trading points. Perhaps the trickiest part of the game is to try to line up your ship to use the travel gates. Successfully aligning your ship to trigger a gate will teleport you to another system or another galaxy. Gates of the Ancient is not a pick up and play game. You will need to read the manual. But if you have the patience and the time, then the game offers a whole lot of depth, which I found fun and quite interesting. And that is it for another C64 Roundup. I hope you enjoyed this episode and found a few things that piqued your interest. Whether you're a casual follower of the current day scene or someone who has the time to try out many of the new releases, I really appreciate you taking the time to follow the C64 scene via the RGN Roundup series. Until next time, bye for now.